Hi, I'm Jackie from Jackie Jones Coaching, and welcome to this next video or audio if you're listening on the podcast. And this one's going to be, I'm intending it being a short and sweet one, but I do appreciate that I can go off track and gab a little bit, so I'm not sure how long it's going to be. So I'm just going to go with the flow. I haven't really planned anything for this one other than maybe because in the UK we're starting to come out of lockdown. The kids have gone back to school now. My son's been back in school. He's coming up to the end of 2 weeks, and it's kind of like the path coming out of lockdown. So maybe it's time to possibly reassess where we are for some people. It might be a time of change or transition for you. You might be, thinking, actually, I want to make some changes. This past 12 months has taught me quite a few things. One of the things it's taught me personally is that it doesn't matter how much I plan for the future or think I'm in control of certain situations. The reality is it can change on the toss of a coin. So I'm going to write that down because that's something I don't want to forget about, maybe making decisions. If you are looking at making a change at the moment, one of the things that can possibly help you in deciding what it is that you want to do is to get out of your own way. Sometimes I've just been having a conversation with my son. He's supposed to be doing his GCSEs this year, and as we all know, they're not happening now, but he needs to be thinking about what he wants to do, when he leaves school, which is imminent actually, which is quite scary. My youngest child is going to be leaving school. But does he want an apprenticeship? Does he want to go to college? What is it that he wants to do? And I've just had quite an interesting conversation with him about listening to his guts. And I don't think we often listen to our gut. We do what we think we should, or he's quite money orientated, which is quite interesting. So, I was saying to him, then you've got a choice whether you pick a career or a job or something. I've no idea how we expect a 16-year-old to know what they want to do for the rest of their life, but we're just running with it because that seems to be what we all need to do right now. But what's important to you? Is it how much money you can earn? Is it the lifestyle that you will get if you qualify at this? Or is it more that you need to enjoy what it is that you're doing and the money doesn't really come into it for you? It's about exploring what's important. And that kind of led me on to something else. And I've said this to clients quite a lot recently, I'm not sure why, about tossing a coin. And it's not tossing a coin to make a decision as in whether it lands on heads or tails, but it's about your reaction to what it lands on. It can often be, a direct route to our gut feeling. So if what he was saying was, he quite likes being in this, serving people. So the police, ambulance, that sort of stuff, or being an electrician. So I said, right, well, heads is, joining one of the services, and tails is being an electrician. Flick the coin and see what it lands on. So he flicked it and it landed on heads. And I said, so what was the feeling that came when the coin landed? Was it a yay, or was it a ooh? Because sometimes that can be a bit of an insight into what we actually want, but our thoughts and our headspace is getting in the way of it. And that kind of led me on to the topic of this conversation, as around, our vision. What do you want to do when we come out of lockdown? Have you decided to make any changes in your life? Or are you quite happy to slot back into where you were before? And some of my clients are saying that, they might have traveled 45 minutes an hour to go to work, and suddenly now the thought of going back to traveling 45 minutes or an hour to get into work is not appealing. It was kind of like, it was the done thing. Nobody thought twice about it if we had to commute for, quite a long time, actually. For some people, it's adding 2 hours onto the work day. But it was just the done thing. But because we've not had to do that for quite a while now, a lot of us have been working from home. It's kind of like, I don't want to go back to doing that. I've suddenly realised that, I'm getting 14, 16 hours of me time during the week that I never had before because I was stuck in traffic or on the M6 motorway or whatever it is. So some people are starting to look at their lifestyle and their job and what they want to do and where they want to be. But making a change can be quite difficult. It's about looking at, setting some goals where we want to be. What are we prepared to give up? How are things going to change for us? There's all those sorts of things that come into the conversation. So there's a couple of things that I dug out that I used to use with clients quite a while ago, and I've not done it for a while. So I thought I would just explore that for a while. And one of the big, I don't want to trigger anybody in this, so there is a bit of a trigger warning here. But this first question is, it kind of focuses the mind somewhat. So if you found out that the world was going to end for whatever reason, what would you be really disappointed that you never did? So what's the one thing? Aim high, doesn't matter. Don't filter it. Don't think, yeah, but that's just a ridiculous idea. If it's wanting to be a rock star, or I don't know, wanting to live on an island for 6 months or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But, if the world was going to end, what would be the one thing that you regret not attempting or not trying? And that can sometimes give us a bit of inspiration. Another question that you can pose to yourself is, if anything is possible, what would you love your life to look like in 2 years? So again, try not to filter it. Don't think, I'm a parent and I couldn't do that because I've got 2 kids or I've got a mortgage or whatever it is. Forget all the reasons why you can't. In that dream world, in that fantasy, if anything was possible, what would you love your life to look like in 2 years' time? And again, just write it down. No big deal. It's not, you're not committing to doing this. It's just, it's toying with the idea of whether you're happy and content where you are now, or whether there's certain things that you want to change. The next one is, if you could change one thing about life on Earth, what would it be? So if you could change one thing about your life at the moment, what would that one thing be? It could be around family, it could be around relationship, it could be around your job, it could be around your health or fitness, but just pick one thing that you would like to change about the way that things are for you at the moment. And this next question for me kind of brought up a lot of things I hadn't even thought were an issue. If an alien could observe you and your life from space, what would they think you really cared about based on your actions and activities? And one of the things that instantly came to my mind was that I really like to worry about things, because that's what I spend a lot of my time doing. So if somebody was observing me, and the theory behind this is that we do more of the things that we enjoy, or we do more of the things that we like, which is kind of how our lives in a perfect world would be, then an alien looking at me would think that I really enjoy worrying and that I like worrying, because that's what I do a lot of the time. I worry about almost everything. And what would they be surprised to know that you care about? Because to say so much of my time is taken up with worrying and, I want to say predicting the future, but I am getting better at being in the here and now and practicing mindfulness. But they would probably think that I care an awful lot about the things that I have no control over, or that I care a lot about the things that could possibly happen that most likely don't happen. So it's just a bit of an exercise for you to toy around with. So maybe at the beginning of this, I should have done a little bit of a what you need to do right now. And one of the things I would say is get a pen and a piece of paper and maybe listen back to this podcast and just muse over some of those questions. And if you were thinking about making a decision, not that we need to, if you're happy with your life and contented, then that's absolutely brilliant. But the tossing the coin, it's not about whether it lands on heads or tails. It's about your reaction to whether it lands on heads or tails. Can be a bit of a I don't know what, a barometer of where our thoughts and feelings are about certain decisions that we're making. And it's okay to not make a decision. If you're flippy flopping and going backwards and forwards and should I, shouldn't I, then now is not the right time to be making a decision. So just put it down and wait until your mind clears a little bit. So I hope that's been helpful. Just like I said, it's just a little quick one to do. I will be back next week. I've got another guest on, Laura from Savvy Peacocks, I'm going to be talking to. And I've also got some other guests coming up towards the end of the month that are very exciting. So look forward to hearing from me very soon. Take care.